To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's a wild ride in the whistle.
When invisibility indoors change.
So today on Miles from Main Street, I've got two friends on the podcast. These are college friends that I went to college with, and they're big Disney nerds as well. We've got Brady and Libby here, and they recently went to Disney. And something interesting that they got to do was they stayed at Shades of Green. So we're going to hear a little bit about that. But hey, Brady. Hey, Libby. How are we doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, we love to hear about people's trips, and we love to let people talk about the experience that they had. So why don't you guys, you can just kind of talk about the trip that you had and everything leading up to it, and anything you guys want to talk about.
So I guess to start off, this was a first kind of trip for us. It was the first time we had stayed at Shades of Green, but also it was the first time we went down trying to be chill. Like we had bought these tickets back in the probably March, February, and we bought them knowing, okay, there's probably 2 days we're going to have left over that we're not going to get to use. And then we were surprised. Our unit gave us an extra week of leave, and it happened to be the week they expired. So we luckily got to use these last 2 days. So we only went down with one goal, and that was to get on Ratatouille, and it worked. But the rest of it was just enjoying being there. Libby had never seen holiday decorations. So that was the other primary thing, was just seeing the decorations and just being there and just relaxing and not having an agenda.
Yeah, it was nice. Also, obviously our first time at Shades, and it kind of all just worked out because, like Brady said, it's kind of a last minute trip that we weren't sure if we were going to be able to go again this year. And we did. And it just happened that Shades was the best rate-ish that we could get. So it kind of just worked out that it was a good time for us to stay there because the rate for us stays the same all for the whole fiscal year. So It kind of just worked out that even though everywhere else was really expensive for Christmas, it was kind of nice to have Shades as an option. So it's a little kind of a nice deal.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about that. So Shades of Green is open to military and some certain categories of Department of Defense employees. I'm not sure the specifics. And at the start of each fiscal year in October, they lock in the rates based on your either your rank, your grade, or your position in the DoD. So whether it's probably this week in January where it's pretty slow, or whether it's Christmas Day, that rate is the same, which is a huge plus. What would you like to go on about it? I don't know. What other thoughts do you have on it?
I mean, I have other thoughts.
Yeah. So I guess in general, it's a nice resort. It's a deluxe level resort. So we've never stayed in anything beyond Art of Animation. It's probably the nicest one we've stayed at, which is great. Nothing wrong with it, but we've never gotten into the other tiers of resorts. Very nice.
Yeah, I kind of dove into the history on it, once we were already staying there, because I just was curious, and I didn't realize that it was Disney's golf resort first. So that's kind of, I guess, how it changed hands into, it's kind of a government run thing. It's kind of run through the military, but it's kind of a Disney resort, which we actually ran into some weird issues with that, which we can get into. But it's you're supposed to have all the same perks as a regular Disney resort, but it's not a Disney resort. So that was kind of weird, which is why I was kind of researching it. And I also think that we were staying in the older wing of the resort because it started as, obviously it was a lot smaller, and they added on in the 90s or early 2000s. And I think we were in the older part. And so I kind of wonder, the room was fine. It was nice. It was spacious, but I wonder if the newer part is any nicer. Because again, it was a nice resort. It's just you could tell it had kind of been there for a while, at least the room that we were in. Just
some things like the air system, just things like that. It was just kind of almost that musty feel. It was definitely cleaned and it is maintained, but it felt old. It felt like the All-Stars used to, where it's this is due for a refresh.
But like location wise, it was really nice. If we were into golfing, it would have been really nice.
Great.
Golf resorts right there. It's nice to be right next to Magic Kingdom. We did walk to Poly a few times for buses, or like we would take a bus to Poly or monorail to Poly and then just walk back, which is not exact. I mean, you can walk it for sure, but it's not like right next door. So it's kind of a leisurely stroll.
Yeah, I'd say one of the downsides. So yes, they do have a bus system and it's exclusive to Shades. And the issue is if you're going to Epcot or Magic Kingdom, it just goes to one of the like commercial bus stops. Like if you were a high school band getting dropped off at the TTC. So you don't get to go on the Magic Kingdom bus loop. So you still have to get on the ferry boat and monorail, which that's okay. But at the end of the night, trying to get back to the TTC can be a nightmare. For studios, it's just somewhere in the parking lot, I believe. And then for Animal Kingdom, again, just kind of I think it used to be a cast bus stop, if I remember right from my CP. But yeah, it's convenient that it's offered, but the locations are not so convenient. We took the bus, I think, once.
So is it an actual Disney bus? Like, is it like the typical Disney buses if I was going to stay at a resort? Do they look like that?
It is. It's just got a Shades of Green wrap on it. So it's very clear that which bus it is, and it's only going to go to Shades.
I think it was the same like bus drivers though. Like they still have were they still cast?
I don't recall.
I think they were. I don't know. Again, it's that weird thing where it's like they're marketed as a Disney resort, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a weird, and you don't really notice until like you're there.
Yeah.
And again, like the buses were pretty much always there. Like they run on a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
There was one of the times we were going to Magic Kingdom in the morning, there was like 3 buses lined up waiting to take people. But yeah, like it was obvious. And again, it's obvious that it's the right bus because it's a Shades bus, but I don't know.
Some nice things about it though. So they have one central bus stop like below the check-in lobby, and as you're exiting to the right is this grab and go cafe. So if you didn't feel like waiting for the buffet or didn't feel like waiting at the Starbucks shop, they've got a grab and go, which I had breakfast here. Actually, it was really good, really big portions. So it is nice they offer that. You can't eat it on the bus, but it's nice that you can grab it, shovel it down when you're waiting for the bus, and then you're off on your day.
I don't think the resort staff were technically cast members though.
No, they're so
that was run by APs probably.
I'll say this hotel is run by the Armed Forces Vacation something or other. So it's all going to be their staff. They might have cast members in like the ticketing area for like Disney Vacation help, but the best help we got as far as our accounts and stuff was when we got to like a Disney resort. Something I wasn't aware of and that we learned. It is hard to tell My Disney Experience that you are staying at Shades of Green and should be awarded those entitlements that you get.
That was a nightmare.
We had to wait to get, so we had planned to go to get breakfast at the Riviera at the quick service, which is great. The first issue we had was the Uber driver got stopped at the gate and they said, "Hey, can I talk to them?" I'm like, "Sure. Hey, are you guys resort guests?" Like, "Oh yeah, where are you staying?" "We're at Shades of Green." He goes, "Well, that's not a Disney resort." I was like, and so we went back and forth on whether it is or isn't, because is it owned by Disney? No. But if it's not a Disney resort, then why do I get the benefits of like early entry and lightning lane that the Disney resorts get? I guess it's them being special.
It was awkward.
Well, and especially too, he put up such a big fuss about it. It's like, there's nothing stopping me from having him change my route, drop me off at Magic Kingdom, and take a bus back to the resort. Like, there's nothing stopping anyone from just getting out here.
Or we've done the reverse with the Skyliner, where it's like, all right, well, we're taking the Skyliner. Let's go check out the Riviera. Like we've done that several times,
right.
And just walking right in. So it was kind of weird that he gave us a hard time, like right off the bat. Like he didn't even give us a chance. He was just like, "Why are you here? You staying here?" It was just weird.
Yeah.
And then we went there to try to figure out what we were trying to figure out. Oh, we were trying to get me a lightning lane for.
Yeah, so we had to have.
So we needed an actual Disney cast member since Shades didn't have any. So we figured, well, we want to get breakfast at Riviera, and we'll talk to a cast member there to try to get our tickets sorted on My Disney Experience. Because I think he had gotten, was it the lightning lane or the queue?
So what it was, the issue was the code that we were supposed to use to link our hotel
yeah.
to the account did not work. And we later found out it's because for some reason my name was spelled wrong, which we don't know how it happened because I entered it and checked in with it correctly. So technology mystery, it's okay. But the cast member was able to link us up. So yeah, we were able to finally we were entitled to purchase individual lightning lanes, which was the entire goal of it, was to purchase lightning lanes and get in virtual queues. Mm-hmm. And that all worked out. So just a little bit of just new stuff, extra steps that we weren't aware of, but it's okay. It all worked out.
And it might not have been an issue had our code worked, because so when you check in, they give you they give you all the normal check-in stuff, but they also give you a little paper that has a code on it that's supposed to work if you just type it into My Disney Experience, right? If they just give you a code, and then that's how you get in and make your lightning lanes and reservations and such. But there was also an error with our room that somehow when we checked in, they told us that it said there was only one person staying there. And we're like, well, there's two of us. So she added us when we checked in, and that was the other half of the issue.
Oh, yeah.
Was they were like, well, it says you only have one guest, which is how I was like, well, Brady, you should get a lightning lane, and then we'll figure me out later. I'm sure we'll get some Disney magic somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he got the lightning lane, and then so they had to sort that all out of, well, there's actually two people here. We need to have two Disney experiences. But the cast member at Riviera was very helpful and very nice, and she got it taken care of very quickly.
And the cast member at Epcot at the International Gateway was also very helpful. Who just without question said, "Oh, yeah, your wife's not on here. Let's get her on there." Gave her a comp lightning lane for whatever. Yeah,
it worked out. It was fine.
Yeah.
Again, just different than actually being a real resort guest, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. I honestly didn't know any of this. I didn't know that Shades of Green wasn't a Disney resort. I didn't know any. So, it makes sense that would have been difficult. I mean, hell, sometimes it's difficult, when you're staying on Disney property, to get a lot of the stuff done. But I mean, I've had that same experience where things aren't going right, and you just go talk to somebody. A lot of times I'll go to guest experience, and just talk to somebody, and they'll be able to straighten stuff out. So, I'm happy that happened.
Yeah. It was fixed quickly with, whenever we got an actual cast member.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the Disney Resort thing, I don't know. You still get the same perks with what are the same perks even? So extra magic hours?
Yeah, so what
are supposed to be the perks that you get, though?
Yeah, they don't call it that anymore, but yeah, we got to enter the park an hour early. You were allowed to buy, so you can't buy an individual lightning lane, I guess, if you're not a resort guest. You could buy Genie Plus, but if you want to buy an individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance or for Remy's, you have to be a Disney guest, which I guess makes sense. And it worked out for us. I mean, that was the only thing we really wanted to do. So we were able to secure a virtual queue spot. And then we had friends there as well who weren't able to get on with the virtual queue. It just never got to their thing. So we played it safe and also bought a lightning lane, which it worked out because we ended up riding it twice within an hour. So we got to experience the standby side and the fast pass side, or the lightning lane side. And it was nice. Very nice ride too. Like it. Good times.
That was cute.
Nice. Yeah. And that's one thing. I have my trip coming up in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
And so trying to figure out exactly how we want to navigate Genie Plus. And I think we've decided that we're going to be buying Genie Plus for only two different parks.
I would.
But
then trying to do individual lightning lanes at probably all the parks. So
I was gonna say the nice thing is you can combine them, especially because let's say you're at Studios, Genie Plus will be great, but you can't get Rise and you can't get what was the other one? Probably Rockin' or Tower.
Are you sure it wasn't? Never mind.
I think
Slinky Dog Dash. But I don't know.
I think it might be Slinky Dog.
I think it's Tower of Terror. That's the other individual lightning lane.
I'm still confused on all of it. I kind of get it.
It's an annoying system.
Before we went on the trip, we were kind of I don't think we need to spend the extra money because we've already been a couple times recently, and the only thing we really wanted to make sure we rode was Remy, since we love Rise, but we rode it a lot, so if we didn't get on it, it was fine. But once we were there, it's like, okay, and now I can see the benefits of it, but it's so confusing. Like before you're actually there. It's like,
yeah. And even when you are there.
So weird.
Yeah. So this was our third trip this year. We went a year ago, almost. Weekend. Yeah. Martin Luther King weekend, a year ago on a whim. Went again in the summer, in July. And then this was the surprise trip. So we've been fortunate we got to experience Rise several times, which was fantastic. We got to figure out like the ins and outs of the virtual queue system and how best to play that. It was also interesting to see the different stages of the pandemic at Disney, because in January, completely different than what it is now. Oh, yeah. It was probably one of my favorite trips, even though there was so much entertainment that was cut and so much not happening. Having your own bubble in the queue with the 6 feet markers, having everyone actually adhering to the guidelines, and these are things that were a problem before the pandemic.
This is my biggest pet peeve. When you're in a queue that like there's nowhere to go. Like I remember this was a problem with like Flight of Passage, because in January I know we rode Flight of Passage, and I'm pretty sure we waited in standby, and it was so nice that no one was like up in my business because they were on their little markers. And it's like, there's nowhere to go. Like, how is you getting closer to me going to get you there any faster? So like, it was really nice that people were like forced to stay away from me. And I really missed that.
Well, and so in January too, and even in the summer a little bit, not so much this last trip, you think about before the pandemic, when you're in any theme park, it's like Six Flags, Disney, any of them, you've got people that just are like not aware that they're just being disgusting, like just like coughing and sneezing all over, like just touching stuff, licking things. Whereas like the last 2 trips before this, it was like, actually, I didn't see like the typical gross theme park guest, and it was very refreshing. Like, yeah, it was nice. It was nice. And then
it felt almost back to normal this past trip, though. In whatever way you think, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It felt pretty normal, other than masks. Did we? Yeah, we wore masks on the rides.
Yeah. It was
inside.
It was very much normal. I remember the first thing we did, when we went to the park, is we took the ferry boat to Magic Kingdom, and I started laughing, and Libby's like, "Why are you laughing?" Because this is exactly what I remember Christmas was here in 2013 when I was working. It's a little bit louder than normal volume from the murmurs of people, just because there's so many more of them. It's Christmas music and crying babies.
I loved it.
I started laughing because like this is exactly what it was, and it hasn't changed, and it's great. It's fantastic.
Well, that's good. I know I've been to Disney around Christmas time. I went Thanksgiving. It must have been 3 years ago now. Oh my God. The one time I've never gone is Halloween. But Libby, with this being your first time, like what did you think of everything? And also, when exactly did you guys go? This was like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh gosh, December 13th.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that was like the week before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah, so I loved it because I love Christmas, and I've been wanting to go just around Christmas time. So when we went last year in January, it was literally about this time. So the only place there was still Christmas decorations was Animal Kingdom, and their tree was still up, and a few random just like wreaths and things. And like, it just makes my heart flutter because I don't know. It's like, oh, it's all themed. It's so cute. And then going back to Animal Kingdom, it was just nice to see everything like super decked out. And
the menagerie.
The menagerie. We can get to that too. But I just love like an Animal Kingdom. I know the thing is already that everything, like the theming, it's supposed to look like it's always been there. But like even the Christmas decor looks like that. Like the wreaths are made out of like bottle caps. Oh, I loved it. It was great. So I just love comparing like all the different parks and how they just theme their Christmas decorations. Like, I don't know, that just made my heart flutter because I just love Christmas. And I loved finding the Christmas trees. Like at Disney Springs, they had all their themed Christmas trees. So that was really fun. Again, I think we got lucky. Like it was definitely busy. Like it was busy, but it wasn't as insane as it could have been. So I know it could have been a lot worse.
4 days later, it was much worse.
I was pleasantly
I could
surprised.
tell from friends who still work there, like the pictures and things they were sending, like it
I
was
was
not
prepared
the
for
crowds.
I was prepared for crowds. I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as bad, and I got to actually enjoy it. and I got to see the Christmas stuff and just like walking through and hearing the music.
We went to studios literally just to pop in to see the decorations and then promptly left.
Yeah.
Because we had reservations or something.
I can't remember why. Yeah. It was last trip we spent a lot of time at studios, so we kind of we sacrificed that one this time.
Well, in the last trip, the priority for that trip was doing Rise again and then also getting on Mickey and Minnie's because it wasn't open in January and that did not disappoint.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of reservations, did you guys make any ADRs?
One, I think. Yeah, it was for the new the creperie, whatever the new crepe place is next to Ratatouille. And it was an interesting experience.
Oh yeah, so when we got there, I think our reservation was at 1, and it's like right over there by Remy's. So we show up at 12:45, as any normal person would, 15 minutes ahead. And she's like asking for our name, and then she said, "What time is your reservation?" And we said 1. And she said, "Okay, can you come back at 1?" And we're like, "Okay." So we kind of just went out and we'd already been doing stuff, so we kind of just chilled and just sat in the area, and we went right back in at 1. And it was just odd because it was fine. Like it really wasn't that bad, but we still had to wait like another 20 minutes after that. And it was just odd, but the restaurant itself was really nice. They had it's crepes. So you can get like a savory crepe, sweet crepe. They had mimosas. They're supposed to have beer and cider, but they were out of some of it, but it was really good.
If I were to go again, so if anyone were to ask my recommendation on it, I would, they have a quick service option attached to the restaurant. So you can just do a walk up, get your crepe and go sit on the bench. I would probably do that unless you're looking to like sit down, get in the AC and that maybe it's hot.
Nice.
But yeah, it was nice to do it once. I think if I were to go back again and someone said, "Hey, let's go to the crepe place," I would probably just do the quick service. No difference in food or quality or anything like that. Just, it wasn't the greatest restaurant ever. There's nothing wrong with it, but there are better restaurants for you to, especially in Epcot, if you're going to make a reservation,
I guess. Yeah, I would say that.
But it was very nice. It was new.
Yeah, that was the only reservation we really did.
I think so. Yeah, we got dinner at Shades one night, which was fantastic. What was it? $20 for steak, crab, and potatoes.
Wow,
it was amazing.
Yeah, their restaurant was decent.
Yeah,
real good.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I have reservations for the California Grill on our first night that we're there. And it's funny. It's funny you mentioned getting there 15 minutes early because we're planning on getting there like over an hour early because we want to hang around and see the fireworks because our reservation is at 9 and fireworks start at 8. So we're probably going to try to get there at least an hour early and see if somehow we can sit or stand somewhere for the fireworks there. So hopefully they don't get too bent out of shape that we're super early.
Just that place.
Well, I think too,
they were really busy.
You're going at a time that's less chaotic. So even if it is like a normal busy day for them at the restaurant, again, like you said, if you just go up nice and ask, they might let you just go out and hang out on the balcony or something.
Yeah, that's what we're planning.
Speaking of fireworks, we didn't intentionally watch the fireworks because we're happily ever after stands. And it wasn't that we didn't want to see enchantment. We just didn't make an effort. But we happened to be at Grand Floridian because we were kind of doing the monorail bar crawl-ish. And we had just finished up at the Enchanted Rose, which was very nice. Oof. And the fireworks started right as Brady was waiting for some quick service. So we got to see the fireworks from their little area down there. It was really nice.
Yeah, I think and especially too, we remembered, okay, like we'll probably be back in the next 18 months when they're still doing enchantment. So we'll probably see it at some point, but I didn't want to deal with the crowds, especially we were still trying to be conscious of COVID and not catch it. Because we were flying to her family in Iowa at the end of the Disney stay. But also like, we really did want to see Harmonious, but for the same reason, like this definitely isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Especially after the 50th. So I said, we'll see this when we see it. Cause that one based on the live streams, that one's going to be awesome.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I definitely want to see it. And I feel like the spot to watch it, because the castle projections are really cool, but the projections down Main Street, that's kind of what I want to see. Cause that's kind of the new part of these new fireworks that they're coming out with is that they're able to put projections on Main Street. So
I agree.
I would definitely want to see that. And I mean, I would agree with you. Happily Ever After. Definitely a big fan of that. I wasn't a huge fan of Wishes back in the day, but that was another one that I would go watch and enjoy. But I was definitely a huge fan of the fireworks at Epcot.
For Illuminations?
Illuminations, yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, I should just say I never actually saw Wishes in person, so I feel like my opinion doesn't count to some people. But Happily Ever After is still the best thing I've ever seen, and I was a little disappointed with Enchantment. But I think like if I'm there and it's convenient, I'll see it. But like Happily Ever After is always going to have that special place in my heart, and I really hope they bring it back because I'm so sad.
Well, and here's the thing too. So I was a big Wishes guy because I saw it every night for like 7 months. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. And then I heard they were taking it away and I was like, oh no, this is horrible. You guys are going to ruin it. The first time I saw the live stream of Happily Ever After, and just from, I probably wasn't even 4K, but just from that stream, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I don't care. Like, good job. This is an acceptable replacement, like better than Wishes. I love it. Like before I even saw it in person, and then in person, I just lost my mind.
And it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I was watching probably that same live stream you guys were watching, and I was watching it with another Whitewater friend, Luke Lamberg, and because he's a huge Wishes fan, and he's a big Wishes fan because that right around that time Wishes was happening was when he was going to Disney with his dad. And so he was a huge Wishes fan, and he thought that same thing where he was just blown away by the new fireworks. But Enchantment, I mean, I think the way that you guys feel is the way that a lot of other people feel, where it's kind of like, if I'm there and it's happening in front of me, like, sure. But I mean, that's what I hear from a lot of people.
Well, again, it comes down to, am I willing to fight the crowds for it? Because when we went in July, we didn't know that was our last time seeing it, because that announcement came out of nowhere. Suddenly, it's not coming back. So we are very thankful we got to see it in July. And it was that same thing. We're leaving it. It was horrible. Like the bus crowds were insane. Like, oh my gosh, it was bad. I don't remember where we were just trying to get to the TTC because we stayed like off property, and the line was insane. Like it was unreal. So we ended up actually getting on a bus for Poly, and then we walked from there, and we're like, yeah, this crowd, like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to deal with this. It took us like an hour and a half to get back to the car. So that was my thing, where I'm thinking of that crowd and I'm like, Enchantment is not worth it to me to have to wait an hour and a half to leave when I'm tired and hangry and grumpy.
I have one more thing to mention about Enchantment, but before I forget, you just reminded me too. One benefit we liked from, or at least I liked from Shades, is so getting back there is very easy. It's just getting to the Poly from wherever you're at, because you walk outside from Trader Sam's, essentially. There's a sign right there that says Shades of Green this way. It's literally like 5-minute tops to get from that spot to the open, like to the front door of the resort. Wow. It's literally just walk across the street, go up to the gate. You're fine. We saw some deer on the way one night. It was crazy. So yeah, it's really nice. But for Enchantment, the biggest thing I'm upset about it with, like, it doesn't, there's not really a story, and that's okay. Fine. Like, none really have stories, but like, there's, I guess, like the cadence of it, like the flow of the show is much better in Wishes and in Happily Ever After. Like there's it's almost like a, what do you call it? Like a speech, almost like there's an attention grabber. And then there's the main bits, and there's some there's some flowy bits, there's some lovey bits, there's some fun Disney Toy Story,
it makes
like
you cry
bits.
for a little bit.
And there's like, the villains show up or some kind of like intense bit, and then it all wraps up and it makes you cry. This one not only didn't have any of that, maybe a tiny bit, they tried. No mention of like, it's been 50 years or that here's Walt giving the thing. Like, Celebrate the Magic was a better tribute to him than Enchantment was. And like, I just can't believe it. I was so disappointed. I was like, that's it. I feel like I've said this before,
places, both on YouTube and here, but they missed so much. They could have been using old music from like they could have been using old park music, and I would have lost it. They could have used like old school Epcot music, and I would have lost it. They could have used literally anything other than like making new music,
canned songs. So you just reminded me, I forgot that Epcot Forever was a thing. Mostly because I never saw it, and because it wasn't stellar. However, it was meant to be a placeholder, which it did just fine with. If they had done even something like that, because that one I do like that they sampled, like they had the little girls singing like One Little Spark and a bunch of other stuff, and like the Kitchen Cabaret is like, that's actually really cool. You could have done even just that with Magic Kingdom stuff or Disney World stuff, and it would have been much better. It's just
the show did not seem like 50 years of Walt Disney World to me at all.
No.
But yeah,
because the rest of the celebration has been like awesome. The decorations, the merchandise, like everything is pretty great aside from the fireworks.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the biggest thing is I feel like all of the fireworks that I've seen from Disney at any park has some kind of amazing finale. Like even like the music swells and there's just fireworks everywhere. There's definitely fireworks everywhere, but like, I don't know, like all us being music nerds, there just wasn't the kind of finale that I would expect in some epic fireworks show. And
it's interesting. It's interesting that you like mentioned that the music side of it, because we saw the stream for Harmonious and we're like, wow, I really loved it. And then as soon as the album dropped on Apple Music and Spotify and everywhere, I like immediately grabbed it. I was like, wow, there's like just the musical intelligence in arranging that went into that. It's just amazing. Loved it. We have a friend we met at that just spontaneously in front of the castle on our July trip. And now Libby and her are great friends. We asked what she thought of it. She's like, oh, I don't really know. She didn't really like Harmonious. I'm like, is it because we're music people? Like,
well, and she specifically said she didn't like the music. And we like when we watched the Harmonious stream, we weren't expecting anything from it. We're like, whatever. If we don't like it, we don't really care. But we just really appreciated just the musical aspect of it. And like, we just really enjoyed it personally. And it was just kind of funny that she specifically didn't like the music. I was like, oh, I thought the arrangement was really it was really intelligent the way they did some of that.
Yeah.
But I digress. Not trying to be elitist.
I'm trying to think too. So this trip, I spent a lot of it just trying to hunt down cool merch and like seeing what there was, because maybe if you don't, just the crazy grab it's been to try to get the 50th merch or like just in general, sometimes just any merch. Yeah, it was just interesting. Or it's like things like everyone was dying for the soap bottles, like little soap dispensers with Mickey shapes. Like everyone's clawing for them. Then they're going for crazy amounts on eBay. There's walls full of them at Disney, like at the parks. Like they have no shortage of it. But you couldn't find coffee mugs.
Oh yeah, but that was due to the cargo thing.
Yeah.
Because I specifically asked, for a while, my thing was, all right, every time I go to Disney, I'm going to get one mug because I drink a lot of coffee and I love mugs. And so I always like, well, what mug am I going to get this trip? And I was kind of looking around and I didn't really see any mugs like at any of the parks, and I didn't think too much of it. And then we went to World of Disney at Disney Springs, and I know exactly where they keep the mugs in that big giant room where it's like a whole wall filled with mugs. I didn't see one mug. So I asked the cast member when I checked out, I said, do you guys have any mugs? Like, did you move them? And she said, they're all on a boat. I was like, what? Like, I thought she was messing with me at first. And she's like, oh no, they're probably on like a cargo boat somewhere. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So I was kind of sad about that, especially because it was my first like Christmas trip. I was hoping to get a Christmas mug, but I would have settled for anything, especially since we drove. So I didn't have to worry about it breaking on the plane, which is usually my concern. But I didn't pay too much attention before that, but like I didn't see any mugs anywhere, and it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of funny not being at the parks and like looking at like things will drop online and then be sold out by like 9, and it's insanity. But that's good to hear that stock looks. I mean, that's not good to hear about mugs, but it's good to hear that stock looks better. And I know I've been seeing I'll see like posts about people who are they'll just go and they'll buy up things and then sell them on eBay. And then I heard about how Disney was trying to combat that, where like you can only buy a certain number of items. And so I'm wondering if like what stock looked like, and if you saw anything like that happening, where like if it looked like people were trying to stock up on stuff.
I don't think so, but I mean, nothing crazy or big dropped the couple days that we were there. At least I don't think anything did.
Well, nothing dropped, but the only other thing that I was looking for was the Christmas spirit jersey that they had this year, the red one with like the patchwork stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw it online, I didn't really like it. And then the more I saw it, of course, the more I wanted it. And it was sold out on Shop Disney, and I didn't see it anywhere in the parks. They had a few kid sizes left, but I didn't see any adult ones. But I think that one kind of makes sense. Like it's their big Christmas spirit jersey. So I'm not exactly surprised that it was sold out. But that was like the one thing that I didn't see anywhere that I was kind of expecting to see. Mm-hmm. But like all the other spirit jerseys I saw, like they're releasing so many spirit jerseys now. And like, I love spirit jerseys. I really do. But like, there's so many of them. It's hard to keep track of. So oh my goodness. They seem to have all of them there. But yeah, it was just that one.
Well, and it's interesting you mentioned like they're trying to combat that. And I remember, I think maybe it was WDW News Today, or someone posted an article, or maybe it was just a shop I follow on Facebook, saying it was a shop that would buy and then resell, like, hey, you don't live in Florida, I can go buy these things at the parks for you. And they weren't charging an arm and a leg. They were making a profit, but not like an obscene amount. Like they'd charge maybe $90 or $100 for a $70 spirit jersey. Like, okay, if I want it that bad, I'll pay the extra $30. Mm-hmm. But I've seen them, a couple of them like talk about, hey, we have to stop business. Like Disney gave us a cease and desist, and like, I'm not risking it. I'm not risking being banned or having my annual pass revoked just to make a quick buck. So like, I'm sorry guys, like I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, that's good that it's having an effect. Cause I in the past have seen that people, like something new comes out and they're just coming out with armfuls. We happened to be there when Arendelle Aqua was released. And like, we came out of the sing along, like, oh my God, those are the ears that are coming out. I just saw that on the blog, and she grabbed them. Sure enough, they were gone the next day, like all of them all over property.
Yeah, I grabbed the ears and the jersey, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, it's just wild how things are really.
That also reminded me, I feel like it's so much worse online. Like it's always been worse online. I remember the first time those Ahsoka ears dropped. I think, was it an Ahsoka collection, and like all of it sold out like instantly?
Yeah.
And like all I wanted was the ears, and like there's a couple other things. I'm like, well, maybe I'll take those, and everything sold out. Or what do they call that mini monthly thing? The monthly collection.
Main attraction.
Main attraction. That one always sold out too, because I really wanted the Space Mountain one. And I remember I was working at Starbucks that day, and I was like, I need to go like on my break and go check out real quick. And that was bad. So. But yeah, in the parks, I haven't seen it as much. I don't know.
I mean, everyone's seen the viral videos, like when the Starbucks tumblers for the 50th came out, the jagged ones, and there was fist fights breaking out. And now, of course, they're all in stock again. And now there's even a pink one. So it's like, it's crazy. Would I have fought someone for the 50th monorail set? I would have said some stern words to them, but I did not find it there.
I was just going to add, they did have the Starbucks mugs, so I kind of lied. All of the Starbucks at all the parks had their
Been There
series. So we bought the Animal Kingdom one, and it's like the 50th version of it. But that was the only place that I saw mugs. Other than that, no Disney mugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I actually enjoy the Been There series.
I do too.
I like you, Libby. I tend to get coffee mug. I don't know if that's like a Wisconsin thing or what. But yeah, I tend to get coffee mugs. I actually have a little tiny one from when I went to Disneyland, and I was in line at Starbucks, and I was just like, yeah, you're coming home with me. And so that I collect those a little bit. I mean, I think I'll probably grab another one while I'm there. But yeah, that's interesting. And I feel like a little bit of it is like they'll have a limited run online, but then in the parks they'll have it in stock. At least I'm hoping. I know the one that my girlfriend wants to get is the Castle Spirit jersey. And that
I saw that one.
Yeah.
So actually, no, you're right. You just reminded me that debuted while we were there,
That was at the Emporium.
and it like our second day. It's like, hey guys, the Castle collection's out, and there was a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because people hadn't caught wind yet. Maybe it's because they didn't like it. I don't know, but
I almost bought it. I liked it.
I'm hoping it's still there for you.
Yeah, we are too. I know that she was looking online and it's completely sold out. And some of the Facebook groups, like I posted on, asking if people see it in the parks, and people say no all the time. So hopefully it's somewhere. We'll see.
It was kind of like not obvious, or am I thinking of the wrong one?
No, I
don't know.
It was plastered everywhere.
Never mind.
We went to.
I saw it a lot.
Every park.
Yeah, we were like this close to buying it, but I bought the fuzzy green one instead, like the fleecy. I don't even know how to describe it. So now I have one kind of Christmas spirit jersey, because that was what I wanted originally. But we could have walked out there with an armload of spirit jerseys, since we both wear them all the time.
Something I just remembered I wanted to talk about too. The character interactions all 3 times this year have been outstanding. The first thing that like surprised me, and I remember I saw it online, like that's really cool, but in person. So like when you're at Epcot and you're over by Imagination, sometimes like Joy or Pooh or somebody will just be out in the grass doing their thing, almost like Disneyland does, where they're just out roaming. They did awesome. Like they're very much animated, and very much like, even though they're really far away from people, they're still connecting and engaging. They're just living their life. And it's like, it's nice to just be able to walk around like, oh, hey, look, there's a character. But instead of just like doing a love and shove, they're like actually doing what the character would do. Where we met both times. One time we met Anna and Elsa, and the other time we just kind of walked past them because they were busy. But
no, I wanted to meet them, but they closed the line.
Oh, I see.
I did walk up to meet Aurora this time in Epcot, and we walked past Aurora like 3 times. She was just chilling. Like, she was real close, and her attendant was actually really nice and helped me get a selfie with Aurora, because there was a bunch of little girls there, and I didn't want to like interrupt them and cut in front of them. So the attendant was very kindly like, hey, Aurora, can we get a selfie? So I appreciated that.
Yeah, the distance meet and greets are still, or interactions, whatever they're calling them now, were still good. Like, I liked them.
That one was casual.
We met Tiana and Rapunzel and Mickey. They were all pretty great. We got to see something I had never seen, even though I was there for Christmas. The storytellers at Epcot for the holidays. What is his name in French?
Oh, Père Noël?
Père Noël. I got to see Père Noël a couple times while Libby was getting stuff from
I saw him.
The Festival of the Holidays booth there.
It's getting
great time talking all about great stuff. And it was just like very literally magical. Like, I'm just sitting there chilling, waiting for Libby to come back with her wine. And all of a sudden I just hear this dude like very quietly like humming and singing I'm like, I know this song. Yeah, there he is, Santa. And I was like, oh, it was just so cool. And yeah, he came up and told the story that he was talking about. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'd never seen any of the storytellers. We got to see a little bit of Candlelight from a distance too, which was nice to see come back. It gave me good memories, especially because the trainer I had from my college program is still doing it like 12 years later in the cast choir. So it was great to catch him, and
we saw him.
remember what it was like to go sing that. And it was just a very, very good time. Nice and relaxing.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I know if you guys ever listen to the podcast, I like to talk about how I'm basically sprinting through the parks, just because I'm one of the people that like want to do everything. Like I have a plan. I know what I want to do, and I want to go do it now. And so I think this next trip, it's going to be tough because I do want to see everything, but I'm going to try to take those moments and like just let magic happen, and just like let things happen to me. So we're going to end the show here with a little bit of a Disney hot take. This is the best way to explain this is the change my mind meme. And I'm going to ask you two if you can do two if each of you want to do one, or you can do one. But give me a Disney hot take from you guys.
So I think, I'm not sure if it's a hot take. It's just the one that's coming to mind right now. Slinky Dog is overrated by a long shot. The first and only time we've ridden it, I think we've ridden it once, maybe twice, for sure only once. We're riding it. I'll never forget this moment. We're riding it and we're coming up on a hill or something, and the entire train went, and everyone like audibly and you like in unison just sighed because it was like a big letdown.
Like,
and
this is a kid ride.
And we're like,
right.
And when you think of that, it's like, oh, well, Mine Train is supposed to be a kid type coaster too. And I like Mine Train. I love it, but I'll go on Mine Train. It's great. I like it better. Maybe this is the even better hot take. I don't like Big Thunder because it's too loud. It's a great coaster, but I hate riding it because it's, especially in that cave,
I like Big Thunder.
On the click hill, when the chain is clicking in that hill in the cave, oh my God, my ears are dying. Like I need to put plugs in. It's so bad. If someone's like, you want to go on Big Thunder? I'm like, no, I don't. Let me go on Splash again. But yeah, so between that and Slinky Dog just being overrated, like unless my kid wants to go on it someday, I don't want to ride that again.
Yeah, so I'd agree with you that it's an overrated ride for what the ride is. It seems short. There's not a lot going on. But I'd have to say I have good memories of it. I think it's just because it was the last ride I rode last trip. Okay. And you always have good feelings around that. I rode it twice that day. I rope dropped it. Nice. because it was like the ride at that point, and we had a virtual queue for Rise. So we rope dropped it and then rode it as the last ride. So it's like I have good feelings around it, and it's a decent ride. But yeah, I would agree with you. It's overrated. It's another one of those rides where I'm like, why does it always have a long line? Like it's yeah. So yeah, I would agree with that. But I'd like to say thank you guys for coming on, and thank you guys for sharing your experiences. You guys are dear friends of mine, and I'm happy that you guys are also Disney fans as well. So like I say with everybody, if you ever want to come back on, or we'll let you know if we want to have you guys back on. But it would be great to talk with you guys again.
Thank you. It was great for you to have us.
Definitely. But that's all we got for you guys tonight. And don't forget, some live close, but others don't. So let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.